Let's talk about the number one mistake I see people make while on GLP-1 GIP medications like Ozempic, Mounjaro, Wegovy, or Zepbound. It's not skipping workouts, it's not missing a dose, it's actually something far simpler and far more damaging, which is not eating enough protein. Good morning from Houston, Texas. Let me know where you are watching from. Let me share a comment on one of my videos where I share protein recommendations with you first. I find the stupid 1 gram per pounds in weight is impossible for someone like myself who has lost 28 pounds, now 190 pounds. So 1 gram protein is dumb. Lost your credibility soon as you made this statement. Totally dumb and not possible. On fat jabs, you struggle to eat any quantity of food. Clearly, you have never been on fat jab personally. So let me start with the credibility. If you're new here, I'm Dr. Bazgha Khalid, and I'm a board certified internal medicine and obesity medicine specialist. I have been practicing primary care for 17 years with focus on weight management, and I am one of the 9,800 obesity medicine certified doctors in USA and Canada combined. So let me put this in perspective. There are around 9,800 obesity medicine specialists in the USA and Canada combined. Let's assume most of these are American doctors. So we only have 9,800 obesity medicine specialists for 347 million Americans, which means there is only one obesity medicine specialist per around 35,000 Americans. What this also means is that while more than 40% of Americans suffer from obesity, but more than 99% of doctors aren't actually trained in obesity care. So finding obesity care is rare. Comprehensive obesity care means treating obesity as a chronic medical condition, not just a matter of aesthetics or willpower. It combines comprehensive nutrition and physical activity education, behavior support and counseling, prescription medications with detailed explanation of risks, benefits, close monitoring, titration, follow ups, all personalized to each patient's biology and lifestyle. The goal isn't just weight loss, but better health, strength, and long term sustainability. Unfortunately, since specialized obesity care is so hard to find, most people get their weight loss medication prescriptions from what are called wellness clinics and med spas by prescribers, majority of whom are mid-level providers and not doctors, and who mostly have no training in GLP-1 medications. So if you are under care of an obesity medicine trained doctor, you are in good hands. However, if you get a prescription for GLP-1 GIP medications without any counseling on nutrition, exercise, then this channel is for you, as I have seen so many patients suffer the consequences of inadequate treatment, lack of basic education, and comprehensive care on GLP-1 medications. So if you are on a GLP-1 medication, then let me know in the comments if you got nutrition education and counseling through your prescriber clinic. And if you did not, then it's time to hit that subscribe button. So let's get back to the number one mistake most people make on GLP-1 GIP medications. It is to not get enough protein. And this is not your fault. You probably had no one explain this to you. However, it's time to understand and take control of your health. And yes, that one mistake of inadequate protein can mean the difference between a leaner, stronger you or losing precious muscle and feeling sluggish. So if you're wondering what is protein and why it matters, so first, what is protein and why does everyone, especially people on GLP-1 medications, keep hearing about it? Protein is one of the three major macronutrients along with carbohydrates and fats. Think of protein as your body's construction crew. Protein builds and repairs muscle, hair, skin, hormones, and enzymes. Basically, everything that makes you, you. When you're losing weight, especially quickly on GLP-1 medications, your body doesn't just lose fat, it loses muscle too. And protein is your main defense against muscle loss. So skipping protein is like firing your body's repair team halfway through a major renovation and then wondering why the building is falling apart. Why GLP-1 medications make protein more important? GLP-1 GIP medications like Ozempic and Mounjaro mimic natural hormone that slows your digestion and reduces appetite. That's great for weight loss, but here's the catch. People often eat way less than before because these medications are so effective at suppressing appetite. And this means you likely will end up consuming way less protein than what your body needs. A 2021 New England Journal of Medicine study showed that participants on semaglutide lost up to 40% of their total weight from lean mass, meaning muscle, not just fat. That's not because the medication is bad, it's because the body wasn't getting enough building material to protect muscle. And less muscle means slower metabolism, lower strength, fatigue, and more weight regained later. It's the opposite of what we want. Let's understand goal weight versus ideal weight, as this is something we use for daily protein recommendations. Now, people often ask, should I calculate protein based on my current weight, my goal weight, or my ideal weight? Good question. Here's how I explain it to my patients. Your current weight is your starting point. Your goal weight is what you're working towards. But your ideal weight is what your body would weigh if you were at a healthy composition, not underweight, not overweight. For example, let's say if someone has current weight of 200 pounds, height is 5 feet 6 inches, sex, let's assume female. So, how to calculate ideal body weight? Common medical formula used to calculate ideal body weight is Devine formula. Women 100 pounds plus 5 pounds for every inch over 5 feet. For men, 106 pounds plus 6 pounds for every inch over 5 feet. So for a woman who is 5 feet 6 inches tall, 100 plus 6 into 5, 130 pounds. For 5'6" tall man, 106 plus 6 into 6, 142 pounds. So ideal body weight for a woman who is 5 feet 6 inches tall would be 130 pounds, while for a man it will be 142 pounds. There are other formulas to calculate ideal body weight like Robinson and Miller formula. You can pause and look at the slide if you are interested. Are you ready for more numbers? Let's take a look at protein intake goals based on clinical evidence for 130 pounds ideal body weight. Remember, we use ideal body weight. Let's say ideal body weight of 130 pounds in a female. To prevent protein deficiency, you need 0.36 grams of protein per ideal body weight, around 45 to 50 grams of protein per day. Remember, this is the number to prevent deficiency, not for optimal health. For sedentary lifestyle, like minimal activity, 0.45 to 0.55 grams per pound of ideal body weight, so around 60 to 70 grams of protein per day. For general exercise or light activity, 0.55 to 0.73 grams per pound of ideal body weight, so 70 to 95 grams of protein per day. For weight loss or calorie deficit, 0.73 to 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight, so around 95 to 130 grams of protein per day. For GLP-1 medication use with resistance training, now this is the one you should be interested in the most, would be 0.8 to 1.1 gram per pound of ideal body weight. So 105 to 145 grams of protein per day. Remember, these are all recommendations for 130 pounds ideal body weight in a female. Your current body weight may be 150 or 170 or 200 pounds. However, you need to start by calculating your ideal body weight. For men, protein intake recommendations will be slightly higher as their ideal body weight happens to be slightly higher than women. As you see above, 142 pounds in men versus 130 pounds in women is ideal body weight based on the calculator used above. So key takeaways for a 5 feet 6 inches tall, 200 pound female on GLP-1 medication: use ideal body weight 130 pounds to estimate your protein needs, not current weight. Therefore, your target protein intake should be around 105 to 145 grams of protein if aiming to preserve lean mass and strength while losing weight on GLP-1 medications. My recommendation is to aim for a higher number on this target, so around 130 to 140 grams protein per day. This recommendation aligns with clinical guidance from the International Journal of Obesity, Protage Study Group, and ASMBS Nutrition Guidelines in 2020 for optimizing muscle retention during weight loss. So, this was a lot of numbers and calculations. Let's simplify it, as I like keeping things simple and easy to follow. Let's say if you weigh 200 pounds currently, but your ideal body weight is 130 pounds, aim for about your ideal body weight in grams of protein per day. That's 130 grams of protein per day, give or take based on your activity. This number keeps you in the sweet spot, enough to protect muscle but not overloading your digestion. And if you are looking for even a more straightforward and simple recommendation, think of 100 grams of protein per day as your minimum daily protein goal and work your way up to 120 to 140 grams of protein per day if possible for optimal results. Again, the goal is not to prevent protein deficiency, but to optimize your muscle and metabolic health. Protein myths and facts. Myth number one, you don't need protein if you're not lifting weights. The fact is, you need more protein on GLP-1 medications because your muscle is at risk even if you are not exercising. Myth number two, too much protein damages the kidneys. Fact is, in healthy people, this has been debunked by multiple studies including Nutrition and Metabolism in 2016. The concern applies only if you have pre-existing kidney disease, and in that case, your kidney doctor can advise safe protein goals for your needs. Myth number three, protein will bulk you up. Fact is, I wish bulking up was that easy. Adequate protein will just keep you toned, firm, and metabolically healthy. Let me say that the protein recommendations are not my personal opinion. These are actually backed by research. Studies like New England Journal of Medicine, Lancet, researchers found that people using GLP-1 medications who combined higher protein intake and resistance training lost more fat and less muscle. Let's now talk about your GLP-1 action plan. Number one, eat protein first at every meal. Number two, distribute protein evenly, 30 to 35 grams per meal. Number three, use supplements wisely, protein shakes or bars for convenience. Watch for sugar or carbohydrates though. Number four, pair protein with strength training twice a week. Number five, track your progress. Look beyond the scale, energy, strength, and most importantly, your body composition. I recommend getting DEXA scan or another body composition assessment periodically to know in-depth body composition like percentage fat and percentage lean muscle. Let's get back to the comment that I showed you earlier and let's talk about what is actually stupid and dumb. Current weight and ideal body weight are not the same. Losing 28 pounds without adequate protein means around 12 pounds of muscle loss, based on the study quoted earlier. Any target being hard to attain doesn't make it stupid or dumb. It just means to be more mindful and do the best you can. Doctors learn about and prescribe hundreds of medications. They don't have to personally use these medications to know how these work. Clinical trials and clinical experience is gold. I have been prescribing GLP-1 GIP medications for years, and I know and see how these work wonders every single day. However, if you are on a GLP-1 medication, you have to do your part. Let me say it again. The optimal protein recommendations for GLP-1 user is 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight, not your current body weight. And if you think this is too hard, then do what you can and continue to work towards your goal. You got this. Appetite suppression on GLP-1 medications is a known fact, and therefore the emphasis on protein optimization. So if you find it hard to meet your daily protein goals, it's more for a reason to keep on trying and being mindful. So here's your recap. GLP-1 medications help control hunger but not nutrient intake. Without protein, you risk losing muscle, just not fat. The fix is to eat enough protein, spread it out, and stay consistent. GLP-1 medications are incredible tools, but they work best when you give your body what it needs. And protein is at the top of that list and is non-negotiable. If this video helped you understand protein goals on GLP-1 medications, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with a friend who's on GLP-1 medications. Trust me, they'll thank you later. And let me know in comments one protein fact that you wish you knew sooner. Stay happy, healthy, and well. Bye for now.